What's up, you beautiful collectors and action figure fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible support of my Optibotimus Plus channel members, and even those of you that just hit that thumbs up button, we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 537 of the Team Suit Tony Stark from Avengers Endgame. For the package, I absolutely love what they did here. For the most part, they sort of recreated the chest area of the team suit, and it looks really nice. But obviously, because this is Tony Stark, right here in the center is his arc reactor. You can see obviously the Avengers Endgame logo up there, Tony Stark team suit right down here at the bottom. The side here has that same kind of branding. You can see that the silver kind of carries over, but it looks really cool. I dig it a lot. It's simple, but does have a cool look to it. When you come around to the back of the package, you got the various warnings and contact information for Hot Toys. And then, much like a lot of them lately, you can lift this up, revealing the intersection. That does obviously display the cast and crew responsible for making the figure. And then a really cool looking Avengers logo, which also kind of carries over some of those elements that you can kind of see of the team suit. I really dig the way that that looks. Then when you come around to the side right here, obviously you have the open window that fully showcases the figure as well as his accessories, which isn't a lot. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Tony Stark in his team suit, or I guess you could say it's his quantum suit, opened up and out of its packaging. And most of you know that I am a ridiculously huge Tony Stark / Iron Man fan. And while this piece was always one that I was going to get, it actually has let me down. I know, that sounds very surprising. Let's get into that though. Starting off first with his accessories, that's it. He is as bare bones as it gets. Now, at the $240 price point, that is on the lower end for Hot Toys release. And it makes sense because he doesn't really come with a lot. And I feel that that $240 price is a little bit inflated because you do get two head sculpts, I guess. But what you get is really, really low. And without a doubt is very underwhelming. But as you can see, in addition to the two fisted hands that are currently on him, he comes with a pair of relaxed ones. These look really very nice. The detail on here is fantastic. Coming in here to take a closer look, I love the textural detail on there. And a very nice metallic paint gives a very cool look to it. The gloves are fairly simple, nice black. You got some texture detail on the inside here, but really fairly simple. On this hand, which is the left hand, and I bring that up because that is one of the kind of negatives that I have about this. You do have that space-time GPS thing that Tony was able to develop. Obviously, it's not on this one. They only had it on one. But this is where I do have an issue. In the movie, and I went back and watched multiple scenes, Tony's space-time GPS was actually on his right hand, not his left, which leads me to another point of kind of disappointment. This is the only team suit release that it appears that we are getting. Now, they did tease a Captain America one a while ago, and I was really excited about that because one of the accessories was going to be the suitcase with all the Infinity Stones. I think it also had him coming with his shield, obviously, and Mjolnir. But that pre-order has never been released, so it's safe to say that we may not get it, which is rather unfortunate, because I feel Tony Stark and Captain America are probably two of the most popular characters in the MCU, so at least getting those would have been fine. Now, on that Captain America body, and again, I went back and rewatched many of the scenes in Endgame, Captain America actually had the space-time GPS on his left hand. So this body, other than the fact that it's not overly muscular, I guess, could very easily be Captain America's. But we have Tony. So this is inaccurate. And that's very disappointing. And like I said, is a negative for me. I am not a big fan about that at all. You also do get a helmeted version of this, which, as you can see, very much looks like Ant-Man. Well, the whole suit looks like Ant-Man's because his was kind of spec'd to be able to enter the quantum realm. So it makes sense that they would use it. And you can definitely see on the inside there that looks like Tony Stark or Robert Downey Jr. It's a little bit hard to see, but it does kind of look like it. But you can see great detail on here. Very nice reflective red paint throughout there. You got the little antenna and stuff. You got a separate neck piece with some nice red metallic paint going around there. You can illuminate this. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Kind of have to wiggle this to get this piece to kind of pop out. And it's not. Well, there it goes. Gonna have to get that here in a bit. But you take this, and then you got a little switch that you can turn this on. And oh no, it's right there. So you can turn it on just like that. And of course, you can't see it. So hey, let's turn that off again and do the full reveal with the lights off. And boom, there we go. So it looks good. It's definitely brighter in hand than it's appearing on the camera, but you can see the light comes down from the top section. Does illuminate pretty decently around the edges. Again, it's not coming across all that well here on the camera, but it does look good just in general. I'm really happy with it. And again, I feel like this is one of the reasons why the price is as high as it is. It doesn't bother me because obviously you have to have the helmet to go along with the suit. So that looks really good. I dig that. The other accessory he comes with, I don't know if I really feel like it should have came with this one. This is the, I don't want to say really, well, it is kind of battle damage, but it's the helmet that we saw him using at the beginning of Endgame to record his message to Pepper or anybody really that finds him. You can see there is a lot of damage and stuff on it, and it's mostly like kind of tore apart because he utilized a lot of his nanoprobes in the battle with Thanos. So it's like part of it is not able to form because he doesn't have a lot of it. But you can see like some dents and things in there, which is definitely interesting to me. Now, it doesn't light up, unfortunately. You may be able to get some, you can kind of do something like that, get some good background images where it would kind of look like it's light up. But the detail on here is really outstanding. I love the way that looks. But I almost feel like, again, this should have came with another Iron Man figure. Maybe not necessarily the Mark 85, but maybe the Mark 50, just because this is the Mark 50 helmet. But it does give you a reason to kind of get this guy, I guess. You can't put him on, or you can't put this on his head or anything, but you can see on the inside there some really nice detail on the inside as well. That's pretty much it, guys. He does come with this display base. It does say Tony Stark. I do love that logo on there. You can see a really nice glossy A right here with a full image of the A on the main portion. I really love the way that looks. I mean, that suit image kind of in the background of the A really does look sharp. I really dig it. Again, it doesn't have the metal plate right there. That's normal. You got the standard crotch grabber sort of thing. This one is really stiff to get collapsed all the way down, and I don't want to force it, but for his accessories, that's it, guys. Like I said, bare bones. That's definitely, in my opinion, a negative. I don't know what else you could have included with them, and like I said, I feel like this should have been with the Mark 50 when it came out, so that would have taken away from this, or having him have more accessories. So it's really hard to say what you could have included with him. And while the price does reflect the lack of accessories, and I feel that price is a little bit higher because you get these two head sculpts, one thing that I will say though is this is a reused head sculpt. It's not that it's a bad head sculpt. Actually, I really do like it. But it is a repainted version of the Mark 50 that we got previously. The biggest difference that you're going to see is a little bit lighter of facial hair in terms of the coloring. A little bit less down here. So they put a little bit more of that gray hair, and then you can see on the side a little bit more gray along the sideburn area and kind of that area. But I feel like this one's a little bit lighter. He should have almost blonde hair, honestly. So while I like it, it's definitely not the most time accurate because, again, if you're going to use the Mark 50 head sculpt, which is, like I said, perfectly fine, the biggest issue is that the Mark 50 obviously came before this. I guess realistically, you should have used the Mark 85 head sculpt, but a lot of people really complained about this, but I feel like the hair is lighter here, which matches a little bit more. Again, I think it should definitely be a little bit lighter, but he does have that more skinny look to him that he did get after being, kind of emaciated. So, I mean, I still really like this portrait because it does have a little bit more of that kind of sunken in sort of look. But I do think that this one is a little bit more Robert Downey Jr.-ish. I dig it. I think it looks really good. Now, that being said, while that's not entirely accurate, also, the suit's not very accurate. The gray here, now, it might have been accurate in terms of the CGI, but what we saw on the screen was dramatically lighter than what we have here. This is like full-on gray, where it's like, that's white. There was more of a white tone to this when you saw it on the screen, and definitely does not really capture that kind of clean look. Also, the Avengers logo here, while it was black and it was also fairly reflective, so in some angles it kind of looked a little bit more metallic. This just looks like it's flat black, which is definitely unfortunate. The rest of the costume, though, looks really very, very nice. All the way around, terrific detail. I like the metallic red bits that they got on here. Some nice silver elements. Very much like that Ant-Man suit that we've gotten before. All the way down, it looks really very sharp. I mean, the boots look really good. You have to kind of adjust this and slide this down to kind of get that seamless sort of look there. But the overall appearance is really nice. But again, there are some inaccuracies to it. Mostly the color. And specifically for Tony, he had the time-space GPS on this hand, not this one. Now, yeah, I talked about how they were going to be doing a Captain America version. Unfortunately, well, this is a Captain America portrait. It does have this little nub thing in there. You kind of have to pry that out here because to get this on here, you're going to lift this, pull this out. You got a little ball section right there. With this, this doesn't actually latch on there, so there's no way to really do it. So you have to kind of pull it off. But the hole is way bigger. Now, this is the only loose Steve Rogers head sculpt that I have. You can see just how much kind of bigger that hole is. It can actually fit on there, but it just sits there. And I feel like it goes a little bit too low. I mean, there's no real way you can kind of keep it propped up. You could probably put some kind of maybe tissue paper or something there, just kind of prop it up a little bit more so it doesn't sink down too much. But that looks pretty good, to be totally honest, and really is more of an accurate representation because, like I said, his time-space GPS was on this hand because he always had his shield in this one. That's the way that I instantly noticed it. That doesn't look bad, though, to be totally honest, and truthfully, I might display it like this. I may take that other Tony Stark portrait and use that in, let's see, replacing this. Yeah, it should be able to. That looks about right in terms of the holes. I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, that might be a little bit too big. So they constantly keep putting these stupid adapters in here, which makes it so you can't really swap heads too much. But that doesn't look bad, honestly. I mean, his body it probably is a little bit thinner than it should be, but it works pretty good for Tony here. So getting that on there, I think that looks good. Some people are talking about like his head looks a little bit too big. I think it's just the angle of things. For the most part, I think that it looks pretty decent. And I think that there's something, I mean, you could probably do this and swap things out with, like, maybe Hawkeye. You can't really do it with the female characters. You couldn't do it with Bro Thor or Hulk. So I guess really the only three that you could do it with, maybe Ant-Man, too, I guess, because Ant-Man wore this briefly as well. So There's options, but you're going to have to be creative with the neck joint. First articulation, as you could see, the ball section is down there. So it bends there, rotates, you get a pretty decent range of motion. If you put the other head on there, I guess I should show that off. Pop that down. There is a neck joint down there and then another ball joint up here. So you do get a little bit more range of motion with that. So pulling that back off, putting that back on just like that. The shoulders here, I do feel like it's a little bit more limited. You can rotate them out to about there. I don't like pushing it too terribly far. You do have the butterfly joint, and it says about 90 degrees in terms of going forward, but you can see that it puts stress on there. This is all a solid construction, so you don't get a lot. I feel like they could have done a little bit better of a job in terms of making like a cut right there and making the arms be able to slide in, but obviously it wouldn't have been as seamless as it should have been. But articulation is definitely going to be limited. I want to say that you can see the butterfly joint right there for his shoulders. I want to say that the biceps probably have that double joint, but this is a harder piece, so you can't really rotate it there. You do have a softer piece down here for a double joint at the elbow. The wrists do rotate around. They do hinge forward and back and all that fun stuff. You do have a ab crunch, swivel. All of that is there, but again, because it's all one piece, it does get a little bit more restrictive. I don't know if I would necessarily say that it's like the Spider-Man suit, but it is a very rubbery vinyl sort of feel. The legs, again, you're going to move them, but then you're going to feel like stretching here, so I don't like really overdoing it. It goes out pretty decently, rotates at the thigh, does have two ratchet joints at the knee, which is nice, but again, you can kind of see it does stretch it out a little bit, which does get a little bit ugly, and then you have a ball joint down here for the ankles. Good range of motion. I like how even the straps here go around the bottom of the boot itself. It's amazing because that scene that we saw these guys wearing this, they were actually wearing like their regular, I guess, outfit, and what we saw was all entirely CGI. They put that on digitally, which is quite impressive, to be totally honest. I thought that was really very cool, and the recreation of it is pretty decent. It does not have the right color, I feel, but as I said, the computer images that they sent over to Hot Toys might have had it being gray, but on screen, it definitely looked white. You know, that combined with the fact that the Avengers logo, while it looks fine, should have a little bit of a reflective nature, and then this being on the wrong hand just really does bug me. So, in general, I like the figure. It's pretty decent. And like I said, at the $235, $240 price point, it's reflective in the fact that we don't really get a lot with him. But it does still feel very underwhelming. Yeah, you do get an extra portrait, which is fine. But that's also why I think that the price goes up to that $235, $240 price. You take this away, and you're probably going to be able to take this down to a $220 figure. As it is, though, I just feel underwhelmed by it. The inaccurate color of the suit, combined with the inaccurate placement of the time-space GPS, to a head sculpt that we've gotten before, but doesn't really fit with this because it is the Mark 50 head sculpt. We really should have gotten like the Mark 85 because that was after the, I guess, the time difference and stuff. So I wonder if I can get this on here. Oh, yeah, that fits on there. That definitely looks a little bit weird. I don't know. That one definitely looks. He's kind of like that. Yeah, I don't know how I like that, honestly, on there. I do like this because it does have, like I said, that whole sunken look to him. Maybe his neck is a little bit longer. It looks weird, doesn't it? Let me see. He does kind of. No, I guess the neck is about the right length. It's just proportionately it looks weird. It just kind of sticks down. So, time-wise, this is the head sculpt that really should be on this, because this is the Mark 85 head sculpt. Around that same time is when he wore this. So, it's a little bit weird to me. Either way, I like the figure. Is it one that I can really strongly recommend? Does he? Oh, like his feet aren't articulated either. I really can't, to be totally honest with you. It's a nice piece. If you want to add it, if you wanted to add it to your collection, it would probably fit somewhere. Part of the problem, though, is also we're not going to get any other Team Suit releases. So, honestly, I think I am going to take the Steve Rogers extra one that I have. I don't even remember which figure this is from. Probably put it on there and call it a day. And it's unfortunate that we're not going to be getting this because, like I said, I really would have liked to get that case with all the Infinity Stones. That looked really cool. So a good release, not a great one, and definitely not one that I would stress out about trying to get. But all of that being said, if this version of Tony Stark is a piece that you would like to add to your collection, he is available right now at Big Bad Toy Store. So for that, I'll put a link right down in the video description where you can click on that and go to BBTS and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Hot Toy figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Once again, I want to send a huge thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this video. If you did make it all the way to the end, go one step further and do me one very small favor, and that's just to hit that thumbs up button. Believe it or not, that one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really very much appreciate it. Also, got to send a huge shout out to all of my Optibotimus Plus channel members, who through their direct support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming an Optibotimus Plus channel member, where you can get exclusive channel chat and comment emojis, loyalty badges, exclusive member live streams, unboxing videos, Zoom calls, the occasional giveaway, as well as get exclusive access to the Optibotimus Looks Back video series like these guys do, then please consider becoming a member of Optibotimus Plus. And for that, all you have to do is click on that little join button right down there. And finally, guys, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.